Well, as the dream began, it didn't feel like a dream. I knew I was in an alternate universe or something, and I was in a strip club dressing room with other strippers. Had I known what was lying ahead, I would have quit while I was ahead. So I tore through the wall, with my hands. I literally clawed my way through the wall and into, a different parallel. And it was really beautiful. It was plush carpeting, very, very expensive linens. And then I see this man wearing a turban sitting on top of a pile of pillows. And he said, "Hello." I was like, "Oh shit." And I clawed my way out of there. Looking at it from his perspective, he must have been like, "Gee, was it something I said?" And this was a long time ago. I went to like three other places. I knew it by heart at the time, but now I cannot remember for the life of me until I had gotten to what would be the upper layer, the top layer of hell, which is really the ninth level of Shahol. I don't know if you're familiar with the nine levels of Shahol. It predates Christian and heaven and hell. And it predates Elysian Fields and Tartarus. When I got there, I ran into an old friend, Denise, and she was like, "Well, I made it." So, like, this is making it. If you're in hell, like, that's the best place to be. It was an eternal nightclub. No, they don't play the same song over again. It's just drink, dance, and be merry for all eternity. And I ran into lots of old friends that's close to, how'd you die? How'd you die? How'd you die? And I don't know. I'm still waiting to find out, but Satan's too busy mixing cocktails and hosting these crazy sing alongs. I even joined the sing alongs, and they still wouldn't tell me how I died. And I was like, fuck this crap. So I clawed my way out of there. And I appeared to be back home, and it appeared to be Earth. Yeah, I was hanging out with these yuppies doing cocaine, and that's something you do on Earth. Until I went to the bathroom to take a shower, and I looked out the window, and there were these people with green noses playing baseball to the Munsters theme song. And I was like, oh shit. So, I began to claw my way out of there, and then I woke up in my bed, my Broadway apartment 219. And my best friend Cookie lived upstairs, so, naturally we traded keys with each other, and yeah, they would let themselves in all the time. Half the time, I would like wake up to find myself, she'd be pumping pot smoke into my face, saying surprise. Yeah, she was that kind of friend. So when Cookie and Michael showed up, I thought nothing of it. I was like, guys, you won't fucking believe this. I had this really crazy fucking dream, and they were like, oh well, yeah, it's just a dream. Let's go for a walk. You know. So we exit the building, and everything looked normal. The hallway looked normal, with the chandelier in the main lobby. But when we stepped outside, I was not on Broadway. I was on Seneca Avenue in Queens. And I was like, what the fuck? And we're walking towards the street I grew up on, Stanhope. And they said, oh, Satan, Satan. And I was like, what the fuck? And I noticed this really large statue. It kind of looked human except with a bull's head. And that's when they turned on me, and the Cookie's face changed, and she said, Satan's here, and he's come for you. And then the statue turned its head and looked at me with red glowing eyes.